And now, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We love to help you understand these different areas of life and business and finance and all types of great categories, consumer advocate tips. And one of my highlights of the week is when I get these calls. I get calls from our listeners, our folks watching our restreams on all types of different outlets. We've got our iTunes podcast out there on Spotify, iTunes. Of course, you can catch the show on YouTube, over 1,200 videos now on YouTube. And that's the highlight of my day, is I get to answer questions. I get to interact with our listening audience out there and help you decide what kind of actions to take in these different areas of life and business. And we've got a great lineup for you again today. Attorney Millie Athanason on the program. She's going to talk about different areas of law and legal advice and ideas, things to consider. We got Justin Morris. He's the Director of Residential Sales at SEM Power. So we were talking about solar and how you can harness the photovoltaic energy from your roof. Many times it's on your roof. And Chaplain Ted Nelson from Gulfside Healthcare Services in studio as well, going to talk about loss and how to handle grief around the holidays. And, of course, Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage, our mortgage expert contributor, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Top 3 lender in the country is Diane and her team. And they got a new investor product that allows you to go up to 50 investment properties. So you can own up to 50 investment properties and still get loans through Fairway. So awesome stuff happening here around the show. As you know, I'm a top real estate agent here in Tampa Bay. So we do like to feature our real estate listings live on air to help our sellers profit more and sell faster. 4823 Ebbtide Lane. This is number 405. This is a penthouse that we've got listed on the waterfront. Beautiful property out in Port Richey. Gorgeous property here. 1,100 square feet. You've got 1 bedroom, 2 bath. Could be easily converted back to a 2 bedroom as well. Multiple decks, lots of deck space, 4 different decks here overlooking the Gulf of Mexico. It's on the Cody River as well with gorgeous views and wonderful sunsets. 4823 Ebbtide Lane, unit number 405 in Port Richey. And you can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, we'd like to let you know about one of our sponsors for this segment. This segment is brought to you by Chad Irrigation. Victor and his team over at Chad Irrigation for all of your real estate needs, your irrigation needs. They do such a great job. I can tell you from firsthand experience, they are a first-class organization. Call Chad Irrigation, ask for Victor, and tell them the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers. And let's jump right into it. Let's make an introduction here. We've got Chaplain Ted Nelson in studio. Welcome in.
Hello, Brandon. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. An honor to be with you.
Hey, my pleasure. Give us a little teaser of what we're going to talk about today.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm here today to talk with you about my experience serving as a chaplain with Gulfside Healthcare Services. I've been with them 4 years now, this past September. And I want to talk with you a little bit about my role, what it means to serve as a chaplain in hospice, alongside just a wonderful group of interdisciplinary staff collectively. And then just some things that we can offer when we're looking at grief and loss, especially during this season of the holidays, and some services available to our community and our families through hospice.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the phone lines now. Diane VANCE, Fairway Independent Mortgage. Hey, Diane.
Hey, Brandon. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. And I love what we were talking about a little bit before the show, kind of prepping. Fairway does a lot in the community. You help with, of course, the veteran community big time. Tell us about those 16 service dogs. That was really cool.
Yeah, so on the anniversary of the bombing of Pearl Harbor on December 7th, Fairway actually did a presentation with 16 service dogs within an hour, and in honor of the 13 of them that lost their lives in Afghanistan in August 26, 2021. And so we gave away. Fairway has American Warrior Initiative that we it's a nonprofit that Fairway we all contribute as employees, and we give away service dogs, and we've given away not just service dogs, but help for, new windows for veterans, anything that is needed. We actually go ahead and give give them something all the time. So we try to do so many families a year, or so many veterans a year, and it's been very successful.
Yeah, I love that. Supporting the veteran community, it seems, sometimes they're overlooked in other areas, but especially, in Florida specifically too, you see a lot of support for the veteran community and Fairway Independent Mortgage doing a great job. Keller Williams Realty, we offer a 1/4 to 1/2 point discount back, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. So we really want to help the veterans out there, and they've got some great loan programs too. 100% financing available to them.
Oh, yeah. The VA loans are great. We talk about that a lot. 100% financing, and it can go up to $1.5 million. So it's actually, a lot of people think, I can only get this much money, but you can get quite a bit. It's actually a great program. And the VA loans are the most lenient programs, and they're also the best interest rate out there. So if there's any veterans listening, it's a great program to purchase a home. And they have several other benefits, of course, but that is one of the better ones to help you find a home.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other programs you have, and specifically, you have some changes into your investor programs.
Yes, we added a product. I just had training on it yesterday, and typically you can do you can finance up to 10 investment properties. So if you're an investor out there, you're kind of limited right now to 10 investment properties. Well, we just came out with a program that you can actually borrow up to 50 rental properties. Now, you do need reserves. So most people that have, investment properties, they typically do have reserves. Now, when you get over 10, the interest rates are going to be a little higher, but not crazy high. And they're actually, it's a great product. I mean, it's. I was like, I had it like double take when they said they would go up to 50. So, so it's called a non-QM loan, which is basically it's just doesn't fall under the qualified mortgage, which means that it's just a different investor that actually underwrites it and does it. So, it's a great program.
Yeah, that's awesome. And let's also talk a little bit about the rental community out there. A lot of people are paying record numbers in rent. And the numbers have continually rose over the last couple of years, and you look at what people could actually buy a property for versus what they're paying in rent.
Oh yes, and even what they put down on their first lesson security, you're not far off from your down payment. So a lot of times, I mean, I talk to people that are paying from $1,300 to $3,000 a month in rent. I'm like, oh my goodness, you could actually own a property. So. Definitely, don't throw away your money. And of course, if you're an investor, that's a good thing for them because, they can always raise the rent, which they do.
Right.
Obviously, and it's actually gotten very competitive in the rental market.
Yeah, it is. And that's a challenge. Like, you get in this real estate game and you start putting properties under contract, and then the sellers are turned into buyers also in many cases. And yeah, some of them have been moving up north to Pasco, Highlands, the other counties north, Ocala area even. And they're saying, okay, we're going to find more value here. But it's even getting competitive in those northern markets. And then it's a challenge to get the deals closed because of all this competition. So have you noticed stories like that as well, Diane?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes, it's crazy. I am really surprised. There's still a shortage of inventory, of course, which and I'm really surprised that a lot of people are going further north to find more affordable homes. But what happens is those homes are actually getting there's competition, and we have. I think I talked to you about appraisal waivers. Well, I had a gentleman this week that he paid $30,000 or $40,000 of a list price, and I got an appraisal waiver on him. We were actually shocked.
Wow!
Typically, that doesn't happen because it's typically it goes by what's selling. It goes by the online information. So I was very surprised with that. But we're seeing more and more that. People are moving further north because it is more affordable for them.
Right.
So there's always opportunities somewhere. I'm seeing all sorts of homes that are priced. They're still affordable.
Right.
I mean, compared to other markets, we're actually a very affordable market.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. Even with 20+% appreciation
Yes.
year over year, we're in the top percentage wise as far as that goes. But I sat down with a great couple yesterday, and we were talking about putting potentially an offer in on one of my properties. It's acreage. It has a mobile home on it. Manufactured home, newer. So you got acreage there, and it's like, hey, I'm tired of living in these communities where the neighbor's right next door to me, and I just really want to get back to my roots in a sense, with having a little bit of land and maybe even have some dirt bikes and 4-wheelers. But we were kind of walking through that whole process. Okay, we can sell your property pretty quickly. We know that, and then so we're kind of going through that whole chain of events that has to happen before everybody's happy in the end.
Yeah, and luckily they do get pre-approved before they actually put their house up for sale and try to find a property. And but the big thing is make sure you are prepared to get pre-approved so that you can move quickly, because houses are going to go fast.
That's right.
They aren't staying on the market for a long time.
And you got to work with an agent that actually knows how to navigate that. Too many times people make a mistake and they just go with their friend's soccer coach or somebody that they know through Boy Scouts or whatever it might be. But you've got to really do your research and work with a pro, somebody that's done volume, somebody that has a lot of volume there. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can't let you don't want to do your buddy that works part-time or something like that. Yeah, he's a great friend, but how much is he going to help you? And that's really what you need is expertise right now in this market.
That's right. DianeVance.com. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage Regional Manager. And final thought to you, Diane.
I would say that if you are looking at investment properties or you're an investor, give me a call, because we do have financing now.
Awesome. Reach out, DianeVance.com. You can call our consumer advocate hotline as well. And thanks so much, Diane. Have a wonderful day. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Chaplain Ted Nelson on the program here, Gulfside Healthcare Services. We're going to talk about loss and grief around the holidays, talk about their 3 pillars through their business model as well with Gulfside Healthcare. You've heard them on the program, gulfside.org. Coming up next here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
Hey, Margie here with the Consumer Quarterback Show and the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. If you're buying, selling, or investing, please give us a shot. We would love to help you. We are a top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay, and you can reach us at 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. ConsumerQB.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay, featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, The Business Journal. We're looking for inventory. Attention sellers, we need more inventory to sell. If you're a seller on the fence thinking about selling your property, we want to hear from you. Free comparable market analysis. Check out consumerqb.com.
Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894. You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace, buying, selling, or investing. Work with the Platinum MVP team and Keller Williams Realty. We've got a hot property listing here. Let me let you know about a couple of commercial development deals here for any builders and developers out there, realtors that might be listening. 9221 New York Avenue. This is 30 acres that we've got in Hudson. Prime location here. Mostly level and cleared. It doesn't have a tremendous amount of trees on it. Great opportunity right across the street from a already existing planned unit development, PUD they call that, and great property, 9221 New York Avenue, 30 acres in Hudson. And also 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard, 7 acres, C2 zoning, another commercial opportunity. Build a boutique hotel, maybe build an assisted living facility. Great opportunity in that northern Hillsborough County area, up north in 5602 Land O'Lakes Boulevard, Land O'Lakes. You can see all of our listings, PlatinumMVPTeam.kw.com. All right, welcome again.
Thank you, sir.
Ted Nelson, chaplain. So you're one of the chaplains at Gulfside Hospice. Tell us just a little bit about what you do as a chaplain and how you can help the families.
Yes, absolutely, Brandon. And in listening to our previous guest there, just how wonderful to hear what they've done with the veterans. I think, in my experience, one of the most meaningful things we get to do is for those patients who are veterans and their families is to recognize and honor them and thank them for their service and sacrifice. So how wonderful to hear about that. And yes, serving as a chaplain, I've been with Gulfside Healthcare Services for just slightly over 4 years now. And I feel it's a deep privilege that families allow us to be with them, perhaps at their most vulnerable time, when we are dealing with end of life or they're facing the reality of a terminal diagnosis. And so we are walking with them and alongside them through that process. And as a chaplain, I think one of the most beautiful things as far as hospice chaplaincy is that it is considered interfaith. So whether our patient or families would share a common Christian faith or it's an entirely different faith altogether, like you and I were talking about earlier, that ultimately, okay, how do they perceive their God or a higher being, and do they perceive God or higher being as merciful, right, as loving, and as they are facing end of life, I view my role as being an extension of God's compassion, God's love and presence. And so collectively as a staff, I work alongside some wonderful social workers and nurses and nurse practitioners. So ultimately we're there treating the whole person, certainly from a nursing standpoint to treat any physical suffering, discomfort, but I think just as important is any, internal or emotional discomfort they may be going through. So we are doing all that we can, I feel, to offer the family space and an opportunity to have whatever it would be that would bring them peace or a sense of comfort as they're facing end of life. And so it is deeply rewarding. Truly love being in this work, in this ministry. Yeah,
it seems like it is, and it shines through. You can see it.
Great to hear. Thank you.
That's great. And yeah, because when you're in that position, it's like you mentioned, the vulnerability, the emotions, and it's an uncharted territory for many people.
You're absolutely right. It certainly is. Many times the family has never been through this before, and so you can imagine, I think, the questions that come to mind and things that they are seeking and wanting clarity on. And so as a staff, they allow us to enter into their inner circle. I feel, okay, God is sending our staff, forth to be with them during this time. And just, I think a big thing is offering them the space that they need. Grief is such a personal and a unique thing. So I think just acknowledging what they're going through, acknowledging the circumstances, and offering them the space that they are needing to experience it.
Yeah, absolutely. So why do you think spiritual care is such an important part of the interdisciplinary team at Gulfside?
Yes, because I think, often many of our patients are experiencing maybe agitation or restlessness, and I can only imagine sometimes the just how completely unexpected it may be, right, to all of a sudden become aware of this diagnosis. And so I think it brings so many things into light. It brings their own personal faith and spiritual journey and what that means to them. So ultimately, I think there's an opportunity to say, what is it that you value most? What is it that brings you meaning at this time? Whether it's a common faith, but I think it offers a time that we can find commonality. Is it family that you value most? Is there someone that you need to see or hear their voice that will maybe bring a sense of closure for you? Is there something perhaps that is unfinished that you're needing to resolve?
Yeah.
So I think it is just hugely important.
Yeah. I imagine you run into that situation with the an estranged family member, nephew, son, daughter. I mean, it could be a lot of those scenarios.
Many times, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it does offer a chance for some healing, perhaps.
Yeah.
I know in my experience a number of times just to see that it can just, there's a sense of comfort or peace that might kind of just surround a patient or a family member,
Right.
something that has been unresolved, and it gives them an opportunity to face that in a way that they are supported by our
Right.
staff.
Absolutely. And if you just joined us, we're talking with Ted Nelson. He's the chaplain with Gulfside Healthcare Services here in Tampa Bay. Gulfside.org for more information. Gulfside.org. And also on Facebook.com/Gulfside Healthcare Services as well. You can reach them there, and they're on our website as well. So have you seen, so when you think about interfaith chaplains and spiritual background,
Yes.
you look at the scenario of this end of life. And I remember when my grandmother was passing, and I first heard about hospice, I just thought, wow, these are angels coming into the home to really help with that final chapter.
Wow, it's so kind to hear you say that. I'm grateful that was your experience, and I think that is I think that reflects, I think the importance I feel of our role with
Right.
that, and I imagine for families that may be facing this, I think, Brandon, there's a common perception sometimes that when someone enters hospice care, that it means, oh my goodness, that death is imminent, or we are at this point.
Yeah.
But not necessarily the case all the time. It's really about beginning a journey or a new chapter, and then honestly asking the family to help them embrace this new chapter that we're all starting on together.
Yeah,
very much.
And,
So.
and you look at the holidays too. It comes with added stress. It's like, oh well, I've got to run out and knock out this Christmas shopping list, or other faiths celebrate it differently, of course. But when you look at the added stress that the holidays bring, and especially if you're in the process of losing a loved one or just lost a loved one, and you have a family member on hospice care, how can the Gulfside team help with that?
I'm so glad you asked. I think there's a number of important things that we can offer that are available, particularly I think with the holidays, as you just alluded to so well. There's this sense of busyness and keeping busy right in the midst of the season, and perhaps just taking a time or an opportunity to pause, to reflect a little bit. As much as we're here with the patients, particularly during the holidays, we're just as much here for the families and for the caregivers, all that they are taking on and caring for their loved ones. So I think we have a wonderful bereavement staff, Brandon, at Gulfside, and it's certainly available to patients and families, but it extends into the community. And I know currently we're doing weekly bereavement groups. If a group setting, if someone feels drawn to a group setting and they're comfortable with that, there's also one-on-one bereavement. And also there's caregiver support specifically. There's one-on-one and also on a virtual platform. So I think we're trying to have creative ways of reaching people. One thing I want to share with you that comes to mind regarding the holidays, when I was first starting out in chaplaincy, a fellow chaplain said to me that he had lost a loved one in the month of December, during separate years, but both in the month of December. And he said, this season, it's not always a joyous season for me. And after hearing that, it really helped me see this time of year in a whole new light, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think oftentimes there's maybe an expectation to be joyous or to have to be joyous if we are in the midst of grieving or a near loss of a loved one. So I think it's important, number one, just it's okay to grieve.
Yeah.
Especially during the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It sure is. And unfortunately, that's our time for today. It kind of goes so fast. Ted Nelson, chaplain, Gulfside Healthcare Services, Gulfside.org, and they do home health, hospice, palliative care as well. And I just think it's great that they have such a great organization with chaplains on staff to help with that process. So keep up the good work out there.
Thank you so much for having me, Brandon. Pleasure. Thank you,
My pleasure. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have Justin Morris, Director of Residential Sales, SEM Power, We're going to talk solar here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rice.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Justin, can you hear me? Justin, are you there?
Yep.
Okay.
I can barely hear you, but I can hear you.
How about now?
Yeah, much better now.
Okay, they're just resetting in there, Justin. Just stand by 1 second, and I'll turn the mics on. That way you guys can chat.
No worries. Thank you.
Take care.
Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for all you do.
Yes, sir. You will. All right, so Justin Morris is on the phone.
Justin, how you doing, buddy?
I'm excellent, man. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, I got a call the other day on the solar whenever we were talking, and I missed the call and he left a voicemail, so I ended up like texting with him. But he kind of brought up a point. Have you ever had this angle brought up? I wasn't sure how to kind of rebut it almost, but he talked about, oh well, what about in 20, 25 years when the solar panels become obsolete and they have to be disposed of or recycled? Do you have any?
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rimes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, we're back. Brandon Rimes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. Got a couple of hot listings here on Nebraska Avenue in Tampa Bay. I've got two properties right next door, adjacent to each other, corner lots, both corner lot locations. 4214 North Nebraska Avenue. This is a dry cleaning business, so attention to any dry cleaners out there looking to expand and grow your dry cleaning business. 4214 North Nebraska Avenue. You've got the real estate, you've got the land, of course, and you got the equipment and the going will and concern of the business. So this is a great opportunity if you want to expand a dry cleaning office. If you know of somebody that owns a dry cleaner, have them reach out. We'd love to talk to them. 813-917-1894. Just call or text 813-917-1894. Also, right across the way, 4302 North Nebraska Avenue. This is a great location. It's corner lot as well. You've got your own private billboard as well. So commercial, professional office building, wood flooring throughout. This is a nice looking property. It's got multiple offices, 4302 North Nebraska Avenue with a billboard. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And let's give a shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. If you want to feel replenished, energized, hydrated, reach out to Replenish IV Solutions. They're going to hook you up with a vitamin infusion drip directly into your bloodstream, pumping all that good stuff into your body, vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, and all types of stuff going into the body, into the immune system. Replenish IV Solutions. They got multiple Bay Area locations, or they will come to you, your home or office. Replenish IV Solutions. Find them online, very active on social, on Facebook and Instagram. Let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. All right, we got our friend Justin Morris on the line here. SEM Power, solar power, right here in beautiful Tampa Bay and throughout the whole state of Florida. Hey, Justin, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm fantastic, man. Coming to you live from the happiest place on earth, Disney World.
Nice.
Here celebrating my son's 7th birthday, so here we are, Magic Kingdom.
Awesome. Lots of fun. And you were mentioning earlier about the solar fields and how Disney is primarily powering based off of renewable energies.
Yeah, 100%. Disney is, they generate 95% of their power through solar, which that's just epic to me. For one, because they're doing their part, right? But two, when you look at a company like Disney, let's face it, Disney's about one thing and one thing only. We can talk about the magic and all that and blah, blah, blah. That's great. But Disney's about money, right?
Yep.
It's got to make sense money-wise. So it's always awesome to me when I see companies like this making these moves, and they made this move years ago, because it to me validates what we're doing.
It really does, yeah. If you look at a big company like that, of course, they're going to focus on bottom line. They're going to have that long-time perspective that I talk about a lot with the most successful companies, organizations, and families. Even if you look at family wealth, they're thinking, not just years down the line. They're thinking decades into the future. They're thinking, centuries in some cases when you look at long-term planning and estate planning and things of that nature. But yeah, no arguing that Disney runs a smart organization in terms of money. Now, some of their ethics and stuff I don't like as much, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, I agree there. One of the things is, the average life of a solar system is 42 years. So when you talk about decades, that's really what it is. That's what we're talking about here, folks. It's literally planning for your electric usage for essentially the rest of your life, right? Or if you're later in life, better yet, right? When we talk about leaving an estate to our family, how about leaving an estate to them that, electric is not a concern. It's not something that, when you leave that house to your kids, they are not going to have to worry about that. So that's a big thing, because I get that question a lot. Well, I'm a little older, I don't know if this is right for me because I may not live to see the full benefit of it. Well, right, but where's that house going when God forbid something happens to you? So that's something that, people, overlook a lot, but it's like, man, you're still leaving this planet a better place than when you found it, right? And isn't that our number one goal?
Yeah, and Justin, we also talk about, we know, you mentioned where the house going, but we know where the prices are going also, the traditional TECO or Florida Power and Light, whichever energy source you're generating from, they're going to go up.
Absolutely, 100%. We're lucky right now. Florida's in the lower half of power prices in the 50 states, but that's not trending in the right direction. And as we know, power prices never go down. They always are trending up, and right now we're trending up aggressively in Florida. So, these are things that now's the chance to stay ahead of that. If someone were to tell you, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, look at gas prices right now. If someone were to tell you that, hey, I can lock in your price for gas for the next 40 years, and whatever the gas price is now, that's what you'll pay for the next 40 years. I mean, that's essentially what we're talking about here. That's really a perfect analogy. This is your opportunity to get in before those prices go crazy. And guess what? When the prices go crazy, you don't have to worry about it.
Right on. Yep. And you got tax advantages. You've got incentives. You got financing options. We're talking with Justin Morris here. He's the Director of Residential Sales, SEM Power, and sempower.com is the website as well. You can get a quote right on the website. Real simple, easy to use website. What else are you seeing out there, Justin?
One of the things we talked about last segment was the legislative push for to get rid of net metering. So I still urge people, take action. Chances are this probably isn't going to go through. They try this every couple years. But I'll tell you what can really help ensure that it doesn't go through is you reaching out to your local legislator and letting them know that, hey, I'm not a fan of this. This is not the step in the right direction for our state. So we need to push back on this as much as possible because this is going to hurt the solar industry. And quite frankly, the solar industry is the future, as is evidenced by companies like Disney. And, I'm doing many government projects, NASA, the Tampa Bay Rays, the Miami Zoo. These places are places that return on investment and, positive cash flow are vital for these institutions. So, you can bring that right to your home and do the same thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. We've got that on our home as well, and looking forward to getting that paid off at some point. I think within the next 6 years or so, we're going to have it paid off, and then now you got close to zero cost. You're still not going to. You're going to have a term or a connection fee, I guess, but you can get to a zero cost to run your whole household, especially if it's a bigger home. That's pretty awesome.
Huge. I mean, when you think about it, over the course of the next 25 years, a $200 electric bill, an average $200 bill, you're going to spend over $100,000 power company. People don't think about that, but start adding those numbers up with the average rate increase and look at where you get, and you'd be surprised. You'll get to triple digits real quick, and you can get a solar system for a fraction of that price, and essentially never have to worry about that again.
Yeah, that's super cool. I love that idea. Just building it in, and then if you do have the battery backups, that's another level that you can take it to, right, Justin?
Oh, it's a huge thing. I mean, we know we have power outages and storms and things like that are going to knock out power. Make it to where you don't have to worry about that, and that's not a concern for your family. One of my customers got a special needs son, and it's very important that consistency with their son. And so we put in some batteries there. He doesn't ever have to worry about power going out. So he can have those, essential things for his son, no matter what's going on with the power company.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, Justin Morris here, Director of Residential Sales, SEM Power, sempower.com. So you've got residential, you've got commercial, you've got tax incentives. Talk a little bit about the cost side of it and some of the financing options that you have.
Yeah, so we have financing options that go out as far as 25 years. And they're great, low percentage, some of them as low as 0.99%, financing on that for 25 years, which is great. And then, there's a ton of other options available right now, when we look at HELOC loans, home equity line of credit. Those are available for solar, and all of the institutions are doing them right now. And it's a very easy process right now because everyone has a lot of equity in their homes. And so you can use the equity in your home to pay for your solar system. So lots of great financing options.
I love it. All right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us here. Justin Morris, Director of Residential Sales, SEM Power, sempower.com. And final thought to you, Justin.
Yeah, so, guys, take action, whether it be getting in touch with your local legislator or getting in touch with us and, give us a chance to give you some information, no pressure. I'm going to give you the information and give you the tools to make an informed decision about your future and hopefully a decision that will help you greatly in your future. And I'm here to walk you through every step of the way.
That's awesome. Thanks a lot. We appreciate you calling into the show, Justin. Have a wonderful day,
Always
my friend.
Always a pleasure.
All
you
right.
too. Bye-bye.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to interview attorney Millie Athanason here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Millie talks about personal injury law. She talks about family law. So we're going to have some good insights from her here on the program. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here. We're back in studio. Quick shout out to Discovery Golf Cars. Check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. And it's so much fun. If you have one, you know what I'm talking about. But for recreation or business, it seems like everybody's getting a golf car these days. Lots of makes and models. They've got the E-Z-GO, Star EV, Cushman. They have new or pre-owned. You can rent or buy. And they offer financing and mobile repair. Tampa location and a Clearwater location. Check them out online, discoverygolfcars.com. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Just mention that you heard them here on the radio, and you're going to get taken care of. All right, a couple of hot listings here. 6806 Pearson Lane. This is a property that we've got 6 acres. So if you ever wanted to have that rural lifestyle, maybe build a home, you got a manufactured home here on the property, but there's room to build. You build your dream home on acreage. 6806 Pearson Lane, Wesley Chapel, Florida. 1,700 plus square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, and no HOA, of course, on 6 acres like that. Beautiful property. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
All right, we're going to go to the phone lines. Attorney Millie Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Millie.
Hey there, Brandon. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful, blessed, not stressed.
Oh, that's good. I like that one.
Yeah. How about yourself?
Doing well. I really just staying real busy, which is a good problem to have. I call that job security.
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
But anyway, I thought today we would talk a little bit about the litigation process and kind of the effects of that, and particularly in light of the Zoom courts that we've been having. In other words, the electronic form of going to court, because there's different challenges that go with that.
Right on.
So I thought we'd talk about that. People are generally traumatized by the whole concept of divorce and the divorced process. It's certainly not easy. It's not fun to go through. It's heart-wrenching. There's senses of loss, guilt, anger, all those kinds of things go on. And unfortunately, the legal system is not designed to help you feel better.
Right.
Okay?
Far from it.
Yeah, far from it. It doesn't promote good feelings. It doesn't promote good relations between people. In fact, if anything, because it's such a nerve-wracking process, it generally it makes people act a little bit worse, perhaps, in certain cases than they might otherwise act because of the fact that they're feeling so nervous. I mean, I had a hearing this morning, and my client advised that he'd been up all night, worried. And so, I mean, obviously that's something that the legal process just kind of stimulates, if you will. The one thing I want to tell everybody about the legal process is the judge makes the decision, and everybody knows that conceptually, but what does that really mean? I mean, what it means is that you kind of lose control of that decision-making process, and then the judge is going to make that for you. And understand that judges can't transfer their decision-making authority to a third party. So the judges are going to hear the evidence, and they're going to make a ruling upon what is presented to them. And understand that you've only got a limited amount of time to present your case, and whatever amount of time that you have set aside for trial, each party is given half of that time. Then the judge makes a decision based on what he or she has heard. Understand that you may not like that decision, and it's very rare that you go to court and the judge gives everything to one side and nothing to the other side, okay? Usually not everybody is going to get what they asked for, and usually both parties have some element of being unhappy with the result. They're not going to like everything that the judge ordered. So I think that that's a real important thing, particularly in the family law arena. It tends to bring out the worst in people, and so if you were hoping to have a good relationship with another parent and get along as far as parenting your children, litigation does not promote that type of a relationship. Usually during a divorce proceeding, people are posturing and positioning themselves. So they're going to act in a way that they think is what a judge wants to see. Okay?
Yeah.
Whether it's through what their attorney told them to do or whether a self-help YouTube video and decided this is the way that they should behave, or they talk to their friends and family, and this is what everybody agrees upon. The one thing I want to tell everybody about the divorce process is that whatever your problem was that led up to the divorce process does not fix it. So, in other words, if you're saying that one party had bad behaviors prior to your divorce, the likelihood that this person's behaviors are going to change subsequent to the divorce is slim to none.
Right.
So people have an expectation that somehow the court is going to tell everybody how they need to behave moving forward. And yes, they generally do say, well, you need to do this, you should do that, and so forth. But understand that a judge does not micromanage the divorce once the people leave the courtroom. They enter an order and they expect the parties to comply with it, but they're not there with a watchful eye. It's not like the Alexa machine that's sitting in your house that, hears everything that you're saying or whatever. That doesn't happen here. So, if you've gone through a terrible process and then the people already had bad behaviors and now we've exacerbated that condition, and we've spent a day or two of trial bad-mouthing the other party and bashing them, it's going to be a really hard try of getting the people to work together as co-parents once all of this is over. And I always try to tell people that when they come in to see me about, trying a case for dissolution of marriage, because I like them to know up front that this is not a pretty process.
Yeah.
And that there are no winners in a divorce proceeding. It's not like one person gets a big glob of money from an insurance company like we do in personal injury matters. This is where we're taking usually one home and two incomes in that household and then splitting it up to two separate households with just one income each. So there are no winners in this, either from a financial perspective, from an emotional perspective. It's a rough go no matter what. And I like to tell people that because I like people to have realistic expectations when they're going into this process.
Yeah, we're talking about let me reset real quick. Millie Athanason here, attorney Millie Athanason on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Law offices of Millicent Athanason on the program here, athanasonlaw.org, athanasonlaw.org. And so primarily we're talking about today family law and working with judges and the two whether husband, wife, they're separating divorce and family law. And you also do personal injury law as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that's a little bit different when you're doing a trial in that respect because, it's not as emotional. Yes, there are many emotional aspects to it, but there's not as usually the same feelings of bitterness and anger that people have in the family law arena. It's different. And so I wanted to say that my website is athanasonlaw.com, not .org.
.com. Okay.
.com, yes. And, in the age of Zoom, I wanted to talk a little bit about that because, a lot of things are being done via Zoom right now. And in the family law arena, most all of your hearings and trials are being done on Zoom. And that presents a lot of new challenges. You have to make sure, I have to have a meeting with my client to make sure they have the proper technology in their home in order to participate in a Zoom proceeding. If they don't have the proper technology, then they have to come to the office and we have to set it up here for them so that they can actively participate in the hearing or trial. You have to make sure that not only does the client have the proper technology, but that they understand what a virtual platform is. They have to make sure that the camera's on them, that they can be seen. They have to make sure they present well. I mean, it used to be that we would tell clients, okay, well, dress like you're going to church in your Sunday best, and, that's how you're going to go to court. Well, that isn't how people dress at home.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. In fact, you see all these commercials about people just being dressed from the waist up and conducting their Zoom business.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
I never recommend that for a trial because if you have to stand up for any reason, that would just not be a good thing. But you certainly want the client to make the most out of their appearance on the camera. I think that the camera has a lot of benefits that perhaps being in person doesn't have, and you might as well try to utilize the camera to its maximum. And so, again, understanding how to use it is really important. The other thing that you have to do is make sure that they can access the exhibit. So, like, if you're asking them to testify about a certain document, you have to make sure that they understand how to pull that up on their screen and make it bigger so that they can read it and adequately answer the questions. So it actually requires practice sessions, whereas before we would talk generally about questions and stuff that might be asked, but you didn't have to practice utilizing technology with a client in the middle of a court proceeding.
Yeah, that makes sense. Millie, we're out of time here. What's the best? So the athanasonlaw.com is the website, and you've got that really catchy phone number. What's that number again?
That is 1-833-ASK-MILLY, MILLY.
Ask Millie, MILLY, 833-ASK-MILLY. Millie, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Wonderful job there describing that process for us. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Call Brandon Rhymes at 813-917-1894. That's 813-917-1894. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.